In the third decade, Tiberius is getting tired of Roman politics. In China, the Han dynasty is making a new start. We take a closer look at Hinduism. And we wonder if the Amazon was once a densely populated, highly developed region.
The Han dynasty was founded in 202 BC by a humble farmer's son named Liu Bang. After the fall of the Qin dynasty in 206 BC, he managed to climb further and further up the ladder until all his enemies were defeated. As the Emperor Gaozu of Han, he established a strong central authority, laying the foundation for China's golden age. But there was one enemy he could not defeat. This was a powerful confederation of nomadic tribes called the Xiongnu. After being defeated at the Battle of Baiden, Emperor Gaozu was forced to sign a peace treaty. This involved giving a princess in marriage to the Xiongnu king and sending money and gifts, more and more each year. This peace lasted until 133 BC. From then on, the Han Empire had become so strong that it could defeat the Xiongnu and extend its power to the north and west. It was not until the turbulent period at the beginning of the 1st century that the Xiongnu saw opportunities for themselves again. In the short period that Wang Mang's regime replaced the Han dynasty, they regained control of the western territories and other neighboring peoples. Their leader Hu Duoshi, who ruled from 18 to 48 AD, stopped paying his annual tributes. He even felt that this relationship could be reversed again and the Chinese should start paying tributes to him. But this was not to be the case. For it was not the Xiongnu who would take down Wang Mang. A combination of natural disasters and wrong economic policies caused uprisings among the peasantry. Several groups of peasant rebels emerged. The largest armies were the Red Eyebrows and the Lulin, or Green Forest. At first Wang Mang gained some victories, but he was completely defeated in 23 AD at the Battle of Kunyang. Liu Xiu, one of the many descendants of the Liu family laying claim to the imperial throne, had united his forces with the Lulin. Wang Mang's armies were numerically stronger but could not break the resistance of the city of Kunyang. Liu Xiu managed to bring in reinforcements and break the siege of the demoralized Qin forces. Severe weather and mudslides completed the collapse of Wang Mang's army. Once news of the outcome of the Battle of Kunyang spread throughout the empire, the rebellion was unstoppable. That same year, the capital Chengyan was plundered and Wang Mang was killed. After some internal power struggles, Liu Xiu was crowned Emperor Guangwu of Han in 25 AD. This new period is called the Eastern Han Dynasty because the new capital Luoyang was located east of the old one. In 27 AD, Liu Xiu finally defeated the irregular and corrupted army of the Red Eyebrows as well. But the territories in the west were still lost. As a result, the Silk Road was cut off, and China and the Western world became even more apart from each other. In the West, Emperor Tiberius ruled over the powerful and prosperous Roman Empire that Augustus had left him in 14 AD. Tiberius took good care of the treasury, but he seemed to have had a difficult relationship with the Roman Senate. He was known as Tristissimus Hominum, the gloomiest of men. What might once have been a healthy dose of distrust in Roman politics gradually developed into paranoia, cruelty, and sexual depravity. No one was safe. But were the accusations justified that Tiberius had murdered his nephew Germanicus, who was supposed to be his successor? Germanicus had gotten his name from his great military successes against the Germanic tribes. When Tiberius was adopted by Augustus in 4 AD, Germanicus was in turn adopted by Tiberius as the next in line. But in 19 AD, Germanicus died under suspicious circumstances. According to himself, he was being poisoned. In 23 AD, tragedy struck again when Tiberius' only biological son and natural successor, Drusus, suddenly died. The leader of the Praetorian Guard, a man named Sejanus, was suspected of having poisoned him. The Praetorian Guard served as personal bodyguards and intelligence agents for the Roman emperors. Sejanus was Tiberius' most trusted ally, but secretly, he saw himself as a possible heir to the throne. Yet Tiberius left the administration more and more to Sejanus and barely showed up in Rome anymore. In 26 AD, he withdrew completely to the island of Capri near Pompeii, a traditional resort for Rome's upper class. Although these wealthy families may have valued land ownership and agriculture more than trade or commerce, they certainly did not turn down big profits. Large quantities of gold coins from emperors such as Augustus and Tiberius, for example, have been found as far away as India. On the Indian subcontinent, war with the nomads from the north continued, as it did in China and Rome. Along with Buddhism, which played an important role on both sides, the other branches of Hinduism continued to develop. Some sort of monotheism emerged as the three principles Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahman became a holy trinity. Vishnu does appear in a number of avatars though, the most important of which are Rama and Krishna. Lord Krishna teaches his yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, or Song of God. This scripture probably dates from the 1st century BC, and appears to be a later addition to the great and much older epic, known as the Mahabharata. As Arjuna's charioteer, Krishna delivers what we today would call a motivational speech. He talks about karma and rebirth and asks the question, can the negative impact your actions may have on your soul be averted through inaction, that is, by not acting at all? Krishna argues that while this is a respectable yoga, we should act in this world. The way to do this is by separating one's actions from their results. In other words, don't let benefits for yourself, whether it's about money, status, power, or whatever, determine your choices. Just do or say what is right. In the daily struggle for survival, however, it is inevitable that material concerns will prevail anyway. Consider, for example, the economic development of the Amazon region. But the clearing of forest lands that comes with it has also revealed some surprising discoveries. It is now generally accepted that several millions of people lived in the area, and that there were a number of highly developed cities. But that was before the arrival of the Spanish and the devastating epidemics they brought with them. Until then, those peoples had been living there for thousands of years without disturbing the delicate balances in this sensitive area. Without the ecosystem of plants, trees, fungi, etc., the soils in the Amazon lose their fertility very quickly. To deal with this problem, the ancient peoples used terra preta, or black earth, which is found in about 10% of the area. The only Spanish conquistador who was able to bear witness to all this was Francisco de Orellana in the 1540s. In search of food, he and his men had drifted out too far and were forced to descend the entire Amazon River. But Orellana's stories were met with disbelief. Yet, his account of an attack by female warriors gave the river its modern-day name, as he compared them to the Scythian Amazons of Greek mythology. See you in the next decade.